Today is the 5th of November 2023. That means happy second anniversary to ABBA's reunion album Voyage. I know it may sound like a cliché, but it's true that I still struggle from time to time to realize what we actually witnessed. One entire new album by ABBA. Especially as we now realize more and more how incredibly blessed we are that all four members were there to create one entire album. At the very end of this video, we will come back to Voyage, because I made a fascinating discovery about Don't Shut Me Down, which gives us an insight into the incredible range of this album. This will be our bookend for today's video. But we are here because of one of ABBA's most iconic images, the famous park bench photograph from 1975. Today we will explore the history and creation and visit the real location of that bench. It was an autumn's day in 1975 when ABBA was here in this park. They took several photographs that day, at the Maritime Museum, at a restaurant and at a tree nearby. We visited all those locations. The video is called ABBA in the Park, and you will find it here on this channel. At the end, I said that we should dedicate a standalone video for the park bench, also because I just couldn't find that bench. Since then, I got help, and well, it turns out that we were basically there already. You remember the restaurant. All we need to do from here is to turn around and follow the street a few meters. There it is, the bench and location where ABBA sat down for the famous picture. One of the most, if not the most iconic ABBA photo. The photograph was taken by Bengt H. Malmquist, who goes back to the early beginnings and became one of ABBA's exclusive photographers. On that autumn's day, he wanted to shoot ABBA in nature, so they went to this park, which is one of Stockholm's most famous areas. We were here many times before for many ABBA locations and related places. Not far from here, you will actually find ABBA's very own museum. On this island, ABBA also shot their very first professional photo session in 1970, which is kind of a nice full circle. It became the artwork for their very first single, People Need Love, 2 years after the photo was taken. So what makes this photo from 1975 so iconic? What's the story behind it? For the photo on the park bench, the creative ambition was to show two couples in an emotional contrast. Agneta was supposed to show sadness. The photographer later described that Agneta wanted to show that she is also waiting for a kiss. I feel that this photograph rightly earns the status of being one of ABBA's most iconic pictures, because it somehow captures all the myth of ABBA, of their visual appearance and their music as well. The emotional conflict depicted visually here with two couples in contrast is really what we often hear in ABBA's music. Lyrics of sadness contrasted with cheerful music. The photo became the gatefold picture for ABBA's Greatest Hits album in 1975. The main artwork was a surrealistic painting of ABBA. On this channel, we already explored the history about this special image before. Some countries swapped the pictures and turned the photo on the park bench into the main artwork.
The long-awaited ABBA's Greatest Hits album and cassette.
There are at least 10 alternate takes of this photograph. I tried to bring them all into a chronological order that to me seems most consistent. It starts with this picture in black and white, followed by the version we all know. From then on, we can see that Agneta and Björn sit and act pretty identical from each photo to another, but Frida and Benny get more and more intense with their kissing. Benny puts his hands over Frida's shoulder, she leans back with him. Then they laugh at the camera. The final two pictures also show Agneta and Björn finally looking up and smiling, with Benny and Frida having a warm hug. I think this alternate take in black and white is really beautiful. At ABBA the Museum, you will find a recreation of this scenery with one of the alternate pictures. On location, the bench itself is not the same anymore, but this is the same location. You can recognize the slightly tilted tree in the background. Ten years ago, ABBA's manager Jörl Hanser visited this location for an exclusive ABBA documentary, ABBA in Pictures, The Photographer's Story. This documentary was released on DVD, but only as part of a limited edition of ABBA's official photo book. I want to give my thanks to Gabriela for giving me more insights into this location, and a shout out to her wonderful Facebook page, ABBA Registro. In 2017, ABBA recorded again. One of their comeback songs is Don't Shut Me Down. I love the scenery in the beginning. It depicts exactly that lonely woman sitting on a park bench, now all by herself. But recently, I made a fascinating connection. Björn kind of used this scenery before in another song. The final pop album that Björn and Benny wrote and recorded together before ABBA's Voyage was Josephine Nilsson's Shapes in 1993. And suddenly, there is one song that reminded me of the lyrics in Don't Shut Me Down. Let's have a look at ABBA's lyrics first. A while ago, I heard the sound of children's laughter. Now it's quiet, so I guess they left the park. This wooden bench is getting harder by the hour. The sun is going down, it's getting dark. I realize I'm cold. The rain begins to pour as I watch the windows on the second floor. The lights are on, it's time to go. It's time at last to let him know. The song on Shapes is called Where the Whales Have Ceased to Sing. It also happens to be the fourth song on the album, and this is the first verse. There's an old man throwing breadcrumbs to the sparrows, sitting on a bench beside the children's playground, and he nods and he smiles as he hears the careless laughter. As I sit and watch the old man and the children, there's a cold and lonely feeling running through me. It is late in the day, and the air is getting chilly, and it's time to go home. Soon the shadows will be falling. I thought this was really fascinating. We discovered many connections in ABBA's Voyage album before to projects and songs from the last 40 years. Now, in a way, this part of Don't Shut Me Down goes back to 1993, and we can say that there is some vibe of Shapes in this album. I don't know if this was a conscious decision or pure coincidence, but we know about the meticulous artistry of Björn and Benny, and about the literal voyage that it took to create this 9th ABBA album after 40 years, which is more than fittingly called Voyage. So let's celebrate Voyage today on its 2nd anniversary, and let's go back in time to 1975 to ABBA's iconic park bench photo shoot. What are your thoughts on the park bench photo? When and how did you see it for the first time? What was your reaction and what are your memories? Let me know in the comments below. Alright, until then, hey do!